Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast, the official podcast of filmpulse.net. Thank you so much for listening. This is episode number 157. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today we have Mr. Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing pretty good.
This week we have 3 reviews lined up for you with the indie comedy Wild Canaries, the Western, The Salvation, and David Cronenberg's latest, Maps to the Stars. We'll also be talking about some of what we've been watching, and of course we'll be going over this week's movie predictions, new on video on demand, and DVD and Blu-ray releases. Remember, you can send us your questions to podcast@filmpulse.net or leave us a comment on the site. We'd love to hear from you. Now, Kevin, actually we didn't talk about the Oscars because we recorded last Sunday morning before the Oscars took place. So,
oh yeah, that's right.
I was thinking maybe we could just
little Oscar chat.
Yeah, just have a real brief Oscar chat real quick. What did you think of the overall... Did you see the Oscars, first of all?
No. Nope. Didn't watch it. I kind of know some of the winners. I found myself increasingly over the years just completely uninterested in awards. Just all types of awards, especially the Independent Spirit Awards, which used to be the only thing that I was really into.
Yeah, well,
but now that's just like in a weird mix of Golden Globes and Oscars now.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that was another awards show that took place since we recorded last week. Is the Independent Spirit Awards? I believe Birdman pretty much took home everything.
Yeah, I mean,
in that one, which again, I don't think I even consider that an independent film.
No, it's not. I mean, the only thing that I look forward to Independent Spirit Awards is the Cassavetes Award, and I forget what the other one's called, like the one to watch or something like that.
Yeah, the someone to watch. Well, they also have the best first feature and best first screenplay. Those are usually interesting.
I know, but it's so disappointing that the actual independent films are regulated to like bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
Where it used to be all about you guys, but now even at your own award ceremony, you're like the live action short award winner of the Oscars now.
Yeah. Yep, that's unfortunate. I think that they should do... I've said this before on the show. I think that they should lower the cap for budget. The budget limit should be lower.
Is there even a budget limit? I mean,
there is because they didn't allow Inherent Vice to compete because they said it was just the budget was too high. So there is some sort of budget cap, but I think that it should certainly be lower. I think that they just need to use better judgment, but I also believe that they're picking these types of movies to earn higher ratings.
Well, obviously. Yeah. Obviously.
Because if it's all movies that nobody's ever heard of, then not that many people are going to tune in. But that shouldn't matter. It's the Independent Spirit Awards. It's a non-profit. Film Independent is a non-profit organization that's funded by its members. So really, it shouldn't matter.
Shouldn't, but it always does.
If I'm a paying member of Film Independent, which is like $100 a year, I think that the movies should be independent. Truly independent films.
Should be.
At any rate, the big winner at the Oscars was obviously Birdman. It took home Best Picture and Best Director. Eddie Redmayne got lead actor. Julianne Moore got lead actress. Cinematography went to Birdman. I thought that overall, I thought that the show itself was fine. Until towards the end when they started giving out the big awards and I started disagreeing with everything.
You're just getting really pissed off?
Yeah.
Is that where you found yourself?
Overall, though, I thought, the award show itself I thought was fine. It wasn't like... Some years it was just a complete train wreck, but this year I thought it was... they made fun of each other, made fun of themselves, rather, a good bit, with... the Lego Movie not being nominated. They pointed that out. They pointed out the lack of diversity in their nominees. They kind of made fun of that. I think they tried to overcompensate a little bit by having the presenters be like 90% of color. So
Oh my.
Might have been a little overcompensation there, but whatever.
Yeah, it sounds like a train wreck to me.
It was. It was like 3.5 hours long too.
Oh my goodness.
It just kept going on and on.
Hmm.
But there wasn't a whole lot of filler. Some years they do like a lot of musical numbers and stuff to pad it out to be completely unnecessarily long. And then
I heard a decent number of people were played off.
well, interestingly, this year they would do the music, right, to play somebody off, and then they would stop it, and then they would keep talking, and then they would try to play them off again. Like, it was weird how they did it this year.
That's the only interesting thing when it comes to the Oscars. I just want to see the back and forth
I
between
feel
the
like
people giving their speeches and the other people trying to play them off to speed things up.
I feel like this year they gave people a little bit longer time. It's tough though because you do have time constraints that you have to work within.
Yeah, because there's no reason that the Oscars should be close to 4 hours long.
But also, like I
mean,
said, there was very little filler. The only filler they did was obviously the commercial breaks, and they did musical performances for each of the nominated songs, which they always do that.
mm-hmm.
And which the Everything Is Awesome performance was very, very cool.
Was it awesome?
It was. I was going to say very awesome, but I decided not to go with it.
Well, I made you.
They did. One thing that lengthened it was they did a big tribute to The Sound of Music with Lady Gaga doing kind of it was like a medley of songs from The Sound of Music, which actually it sounds like it would be horrible, but it was actually pretty damn good, I must say. And I don't even like Lady Gaga.
I don't have anything against Lady Gaga. She's all right in my book.
I'm just not a big fan of her music. I don't really care that she's weird or whatever.
I've heard 2 songs from her. I only know 2 songs. Plus, she's in Lancaster all the time.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
That's odd.
She's been spotted numerous times. She's dating a guy from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she pops up occasionally.
Well, there you go. So anyway, overall, Oscars pretty much exactly what I expected. Maybe a little bit better on the production side of it as far as the look, presentation, but the winners, pretty predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely predictable.
Boy, were they.
Same with the Independent Spirit Awards. Pretty lackluster in my opinion.
Without a doubt. I don't care about any of this stuff anymore.
They need to do like what they do with certain film festivals like Slam Dance. Like Slam Dance has a very strict budget limit for films that they present, and I think also at Slam Dance you have to be a first-time director.
That sounds about right.
I think you have to be a first-time director at Slam Dance, and I'm not saying that needs to be the case with like the Independent Spirit Awards, but definitely the budget thing.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I can kind of understand bringing in the bigger movies for that because it gives a chance for the very small independent filmmakers like a chance to network. So I can see that working out in their advantage. But at the same time, just as far as awards go, I just don't really care anymore.
Well,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. It's too commercial, dude. It's too commercial.
It's not even that. It's just the whole thing is just odd to me. It's just very odd.
Not into great filmmakers winning awards.
Well, if they actually did, if the great filmmakers were the ones that won the awards, that would be great.
Well,
But
also
it's more of just studios giving each other reach arounds.
well, with the Oscars, yeah, definitely. Especially when they came out with that thing that said that most of the voting members of the Academy saw like 20 or 30 movies or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the number one thing that really bothers me is that they don't even see most of these movies. It's almost as if they don't give a shit about film in general, which is what really irritates me. And then all of it just becomes like a marketing ploy with, people taking out ads for your consideration. Vote for us. And it's just ridiculous.
Yep. All right. So that's enough about that.
Enough about them shitty Academy Awards. Go fuck yourself. But also, congratulations to everyone that won an Academy Award. Good on you.
I think that it is still a big honor, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a filmmaker and I got nominated and subsequently won an Oscar, I would still be like, yeah, this is bullshit. The Oscars are bullshit. But I'd be secretly like, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, of course you would. It's an Oscar. It still holds a certain amount of prestige to it, even though it's all political and shitty now. It still has this kind of prestige to it.
Well, all right. Plus, it's such a great negotiating tool.
Oh yeah, I mean it's. I think that is the thing. It's really good for your career.
You want to pay me how much? You know I won an Oscar, right?
Excuse me. I can take a picture of my Oscar that's on my counter here and show you.
I would bring it into every negotiation ever. Yeah, I would have it like clipped to my belt loop.
That's what I would do too. Just carry it with me everywhere I go.
Or make it into a necklace.
Yeah, get a chain. Just carry it around. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our first review. Where do you want to start? We got 3 very different movies this week.
Extremely different. There's
no connections with these.
No, we have a little remnant of the Wild thing going on.
Let's.
What do we want to do? What do you want to knock out of the park first?
Let's start with Maps to the Stars.
All right, let's get rid of this. Let's get it out of the way.
So this is directed by David Cronenberg. I have a synopsis here. A tour into the heart of a Hollywood family chasing celebrity, one another, and the relentless ghosts of their pasts. This stars Julianne Moore, Mia Wasikowska, Robert Pattinson, John Cusack. This is a really interesting one for me because after I was done watching it, I kind of took a moment of self-reflection and I was like,
oh boy,
do I love this movie or do I hate this movie? Because it's one or the other. And I've been struggling with it since then. I either love it or I hate it. And I'm thinking I hate it, but there are several things about this movie that I really did like quite a bit. And
there's still an outside chance that you love it.
Yeah. I like Cronenberg's take on the whole Hollywood lifestyle. I like that these people are they're just all kind of caricatures of what I guess we perceive Hollywood life being like. Mm-hmm. And I kind of liked how he portrayed that. Now, there's several things, the ghosts of their past or whatever. They're literal ghosts in this movie, and I was kind of not really so sure about. But then I thought, well, maybe it's because these kids that are seeing these ghosts have problems like mental illness because of what their parents did. And I don't know how much we should get into that because it's like a pretty big
the
revelation.
Nature of Hollywood,
right?
Yeah? Do you want to cut that out?
No, because I think that in several synopses of this movie, it says an exploration of the incestuous nature of Hollywood. I guess maybe people didn't take that literally, but
yeah, you should.
Whatever. Spoiler, it's literal. It's the literal incestuous nature of Hollywood.
There you go.
So yeah, at first I really wasn't on board with the ghost thing, but then I thought, oh, well, maybe it's because they're fucked up because they're inbred. There, I said it.
Ooh, hot take. I don't know if that's a literal hot take. I don't know what that is, actually. Just wanted to say it. I kind of did the same thing, but mine was a much quicker route to I hate this.
Well, you saw it before me. You saw it a while ago, so you had a little while. It's steeped with you for a little while.
Yes. But I pretty much came to that conclusion rather quickly, almost while watching it, to be honest. I was very interested in what you would think because you're more of a Cronenberg fan than I am.
Well,
and you're much more well versed in Cronenberg than I am. Let's put it that way.
Right, but new Cronenberg is very different than
it's very different.
Old Cronenberg.
Very different. It's interesting to watch. I'll give you that. But Maps to the Stars it really feels like he's going for low hanging fruit with this one. I just don't understand the need to do the whole Hollywood takedown film again. And
Right, yeah.
it feels stale to me. And this just felt ridiculous.
There
And
were a
just kind of
lot.
sad to be that much of a veteran. In 40 years into your career, you're going to do the whole Hollywood takedown type thing. And it felt juvenile, really.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird. There's a lot of weird shit in this movie.
Good bit. Good bit.
I thought a lot of it looked pretty ridiculous. There was some actual special effects work in this movie, and I thought that it looked pretty bad. There's like a scene where there's a fire.
The little self-inflation. Pushing her into the pool with the rattan chase lounge? Yes. Hilarious. Was that supposed to be funny? Because I found it absolutely hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know.
The noises that she's making, and then he just pushes her in with the chase lounge. Just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that I found ridiculous. Cusack in general, I thought he was pretty ridiculous in this movie. He felt like a cartoon. A lot of these people felt like cartoon characters.
Oh, for the most part, they're all cartoon characters. For me, it was Julianne Moore was really the cartoonish.
Oh, I felt like she was trying to be Lindsay Lohan in this.
Oh yeah, it was just rough to watch for me. I couldn't.
And I'm fairly certain.
Seriously.
I'm fairly certain Cronenberg wanted them to act that way, but
I'm sure.
It just, for me, I was like, it wasn't working. It wasn't.
No.
And wasn't gelling for me.
That's what I'm saying is, he wanted to go over the top with it, to be caricatures, to be so cartoonish, and he's, just taking jabs at Hollywood left and right. And that's why it felt so juvenile to me, because I'm thinking, you're 40 years into your career. Like, you're almost a household name as an indie director. Like, this just feels ridiculous that you're doing this now.
Yeah.
It's been done so many times before, and so much better too, that it just felt it was kind of embarrassing to watch, I thought.
A lot of the dialogue was rough too. I wrote down one particular line that made me laugh, and it was Mia Wasikowska's towards the end of the movie, and she goes, "You don't have to worry about me starting any more fires. They put my pilot light out." I was like, when she said that, I was like, "Are you serious? Are you fucking serious with this movie? They put my pilot light out.
They put it out, didn't they? Oh boy,
they put it out. It's no more. She's no more fires. That's it." One other thing I wrote down. I wrote one other note down here, and that was Julianne Moore fart.
Was that when she was taking a shit?
Yeah, because there was a pretty ridiculous scene where she's constipated, and there's an entire scene of her on the toilet talking to Mia Wasikowska, and she's just farting the whole time.
She sure is.
Oh God.
I couldn't really get into this one. I mean, the only thing that I really enjoyed with Maps to the Stars was some of the just unexpected ghost spirits, or whatever you want to call them, just popping up out of nowhere. I thought that was sprinkled in rather well, because it almost essentially took me, knocked me back every time that it would pop up. And I thought that all those scenes were kind of handled really well. Just the whole atmosphere and feel of those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just, it wasn't enough of that.
Yeah.
And everything outside of it is just, kind of an embarrassing joke.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mishmash of a movie, because really the movie follows one family, right? A couple and their two kids, but it keeps taking this sidestep into Julianne Moore's life. It spends a significant amount of time with her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Is it supposed to be like kind of an ensemble story here, where we have like these separate pieces that are all linked together? But it doesn't really feel like that either, because we spend way more time with Cusack's family and Mia Wasikowska and the shitty little kid. We spend way more time with them and their story, but a significant amount of time is devoted to Julianne Moore's story as well.
Yeah. Plus,
it just
you could have cut out the entire Robert Pattinson
right, yeah, and there's
thread.
that story too, which is very, very minimal, like almost non-existent. So
It adds nothing. Plus,
yeah,
he's just, let's be honest, he was terrible. I thought he was terrible.
he was
And I'm just like,
odd.
I'm starting to like him. Like, I'm like, oh, you are actually kind of a decent actor. And then I see this and I'm like, oh, maybe you're not. Maybe I was wrong.
I don't think that was his fault. I think that just the character was it was a weird character. It's just
Well,
an
yeah,
odd,
there's really no need for his character.
just the pacing and how the stories, the interconnected stories, it wasn't really working for me because there was so much of one and so little of some of the other ones. You gotta even it out if that's what you're going
Not,
for,
yeah,
or
nothing gelled.
either
Nothing gelled.
just either even it out or shorten the Julianne Moore story to just a little sliver, just so that we can understand that Mia Wasikowska is working for her and that she's really high maintenance and messed up.
Yeah.
We don't need to spend minutes of her taking a shit.
Or do we?
No, we don't, Kevin.
Yeah.
So where does this compare to Cosmopolis for you?
Much, much lower.
Lower than Cosmopolis, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Cosmopolis, but that one was at least engaging, different. I thought it was riskier than what this film is.
Yeah.
Again, this just feels really juvenile. This feels like a movie that he would have made early on in his career. And now it just kind of seems, like he's a spurned ex of Hollywood. And he's just like, well, I'll show you Hollywood. And it's like, dude, come on, you've been making movies for 40 years. No one gives a shit. Shut up.
He's like, hey, Hollywood, here's a mirror. Look at yourself.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
This movie's like a bag of shit that he lit on fire and placed on some studio's doorstep. And it was like, take that.
Take that,
And,
dicks.
and they were like, and the studio is just like, David, what the hell, dude? You're like 70 years old. Chill out. What are you doing?
Back off, dude. Back off. All right, well.
We told you numerous times that we would let you do movies. I don't understand.
Just leave us alone.
It's silly to me. I just found the whole thing silly.
Well, while I was watching it, I said to my girlfriend, I'm sure that people like this exist in the world, and especially in LA, but I've met a lot of actors, I've met filmmakers, and nobody acts like this. And I have a really hard time believing that even like super, super famous people act like this. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just jaded, but I have a hard time believing that there's that many people like this, because when you see a movie like this, it makes you think that this is supposed to be the majority in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't believe that.
No, I don't either. Plus, it's just another movie in a long line of movies that main message is Hollywood is vapid. It's like, oh, thanks.
Oh, we didn't know that. We didn't
Yeah,
know that was the perception.
Thank you.
And I don't. I
Thank
also
you for adding to the dialogue.
Yeah, and I also don't.
Very kind of you.
I don't want to stick up for those types of people in Hollywood either, because I think that there is a lot of vapid stuff going on in Hollywood. Sure. But I don't know. I guess like you said, to me, it was just tired.
At least have a little more to say outside of they're vapid. Okay, yeah, number of movies have tackled that already. Well, do you have anything else to add to that, or you just piling on?
And that was why initially I was kind of into this movie. I was like, oh man, this is Cronenberg's take on Hollywood, and to me, this family was it was pretty intriguing at first. I was kind of into their story, and I was like, oh, what did Mia Wasikowska do? Why are they acting this way towards her? And I really wanted to find out what happened, and I think that their story, the story of that family, is an interesting one. But it's just underneath all of this extra surface level stuff that I didn't really care for.
Yeah, you just don't really care about.
Like, I don't care about Julianne Moore's story. I want to know more about the family dynamic here and that little shit-stained kid.
Evan Bird. Evan Bird being a shit stain.
Yeah. What was the? I loved how he was so jealous and hated that other little kid so much.
Oh, he sure did.
And he kept calling him something, and I don't remember. He kept like reciting a line, but vagina or something.
I enjoyed Evan
Babina.
Bird, but I didn't even realize that it was the same kid from The Killing.
Oh yeah, it was
So
the brother. Yeah,
yeah, I had no idea.
yeah. I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
I've only seen like 2 episodes of The Killing, but whatever. I just want to forget this movie
All right, let's
and never speak of it again. So can we?
let's go ahead and give it a
No offense, let's just move on.
let's go ahead and give it a score. I will give Maps to the Stars a 4.5 out of 10.
Ooh, man. I was thinking you were definitely going to be higher than me. I was going to go like a 5, but I usually keep the 5s for movies that I just like care less about either way.
Yeah,
Like I just want to ignore that they exist at all.
normally I give a 5 to like a middle of the road movie where I didn't really hate it, but I didn't really love it. It's just kind of, it's just an average, forgettable movie. To me, this, well, you know what? Maybe now I'm rethinking
Don't let me
this.
sway you. Don't let me sway you.
Well, no, now I'm rethinking this whole thing because
Are you going lower?
I might
Are
go.
you going lower?
Yeah, I might go. I might go higher to 5.5
jeez.
because I'm thinking.
Oh,
Because if you're going 5, I feel like maybe I did like it a little bit more than you.
okay.
So I think I'll go.
Just give it what you want to give it, man.
I think I'll go five and a
What do
half.
you want? Oh shit. Now I'm gonna go 6. What are you gonna come back with? Let's work our way up to 10.
No, certainly not a 10.
No, I'm stuck at a 5. 5 is for movies where I just like to kind of throw up my hands, like I don't fucking know. Maybe you'll like it, maybe not. I give 2 shits about it.
Yeah, it's a tough.
It's one of those if I never saw it, I wouldn't feel any way about it. I wouldn't feel left out. Like, oh shit, I really wish I saw Maps to the Stars.
I don't know. I feel like maybe if I saw it again, there's a possibility that I could fall in love with it. That's what I'm kind of struggling with because I was really into it at first, but it just fell apart on me.
Oh no.
So anyway, whatever. I'm giving it somewhere between a 4.5 and a 5.5.
Let's good times.
Let's move on and talk about. We'll do The Salvation next, and then we'll end it off with Wild Canaries because I think we both will like that a lot. And
Yeah.
so
Just end on a good note.
yeah, so we'll move on to The Salvation. This is directed by Christian Levering. Synopsis says, in 1870s America, a peaceful American settler kills his family's murderer, which unleashes the fury of a notorious gang leader. His cowardly fellow townspeople then betray him, forcing him to hunt down the outlaws alone.
Oh my.
This stars Mads Mikkelsen, Ava Green, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Manu striker Eric Cantona.
I was looking for the one guy from Terriers and True Bloods in there for just a little bit. He's one of the guys at the beginning, one of the bad guys. Anyway,
Well, we also have Jonathan Price.
oh yeah,
Get some Jonathan Price action in
yeah,
there.
Jonathan Price. That's the other one I was looking for. So now, Kevin, what'd you think of The Salvation?
Fairly generic Western. Has a very simple storyline. Something terrible befalls Matt Mikkelsen's family. He decides to take revenge. No one really helps him except his brother. And it follows the exact kind of narrative line that you think it would.
Yeah, that's the
But at the same time, there's this odd inclusion of terrible effects work that just really take me out of
we'll
it.
get there. Yeah,
Oh boy. And I got the feeling that no one was really into this. Like none of the performances that I'm seeing on the screen in The Salvation communicate to me that these people were really into the story and really wanted to tell this story.
yeah. It was very
Everyone just seems to be like sleepwalking through the entire affair.
yeah. It was very monotone. It seemed like just
Yeah.
the performances very
Dude.
emotionless.
Yeah, there's no development of characters. for some reason they try and throw in this oil thing like out of nowhere towards the end, which just
Yeah.
like was that because the way they end the film, it makes you think like, oh, that was the entire story, the entire time of the film. That's what this film was about, oil, which had nothing to do with Mads Mikkelsen's story whatsoever. So I'm just completely baffled.
Well, to me, it felt like first of all, there was a scene like a cutaway with them talking to the bad guys, talking to this oil baron, I would assume. And
Yeah.
it felt so out of place. It's like, wait a minute, now we're following the bad guys? We've been following Mads Mikkelsen the whole time. Now we're going into the bad guy? Like, that scene felt so out of place, and I understand that they put that in there so that we could understand why they're trying to buy up all the property and whatever, but that side plot or whatever you want to call it felt so insignificant. Like, why do we care? This, up until this point, this has been a paint by numbers Western.
Oh yeah. Revenge
To
tale.
a T. And then you put in this whole oil thing.
You just try and squeeze it in towards the end. You don't really develop outside of that scene. And then there's, there's a couple of scenes where you see like the oil bubbling, and then some people make some, but like, don't drink the water, there's that sticky stuff in it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, they don't know what oil is. This is hilarious. And then at the end, they try and make this like grandiose, and again, terrible, terrible effects. Try and make this like point of like, this is what the story was really about, and it's like, shit, you didn't develop that at all. So to me, none of this felt, there was no point to anything really,
Well,
at all.
I will say that we don't get a lot of Westerns these days. And as if it was trying to go for a classic style revenge Western, I think that it succeeded, because I was actually quite into a lot of the shootouts and things like that. I thought that they were well shot, well choreographed. I liked a lot of the lighting in it, especially there's a scene where he's laying underneath a house and you see like the bullet holes coming in, and like the light comes in. I thought that looked really cool.
It's very stylish. Very stylish.
I liked a lot of the some of the violence in this movie felt very very real to me, like very visceral. Like, there's a scene where a guy got stabbed in the face with a knife, and it just
No, he sure did.
it just felt it just looked really good. The violence looked good. But like you were saying, the effects work in this movie. I mean, right out of the gate, when they're in that stagecoach,
Oh boy.
I was like, wait a minute, that is the most obvious green screen I have. Like, it looked so bad. Like, on YouTube videos, when you see a YouTube video of someone that just got their green screen set up, and there's kind of that glow around their body.
Yep.
That's
you have that border.
That's what it was. There was that kind of glow, and it instantly took you out of it. And there's a couple other scenes where they enhance the location and put in some like CG oil towers and shit, and that looked awful.
It looks like something from like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, I don't know.
The animation with that stuff.
Yeah.
And okay, now, like you said at the beginning, there's the obvious green screening going on here. Now, I did like the look of it, not the terribleness of it. I liked what they were going for with the night sky and everything. If they could have just blended it in better, it would have been okay. But yes, it does take you out of it. But the worst thing for me was CGI fire. Why?
Yeah.
Like, how hard is it to just light a fire and contain it? Just light a fucking fire, would you?
Yeah, and it wasn't like Maps to the Stars, where it would be difficult to show
It's
a
just
person.
like a small brush fire.
Yeah, and
How hard is it to gather up some wood, light it on fire, and film it? It's not rocket science. We've been doing it for years.
yeah, typically CG fire always looks like CG fire. It
looks terrible.
And in this movie, yes, it looks really bad. It looks quite bad.
And the other thing that really, okay, if that's not bad enough, the fire that's going on in this film, that's CGI fire, is not that essential to the story.
No.
it's almost like, okay, if you can't do, like, if you're too scared to like make actually build a fire and film it, and you're discussing like, okay, let's throw in CGI fire. How about someone just comes in and be like, you know what, this isn't that important, so let's just cut it out entirely because it's just gonna look awful. But no, they include it and it looks terrible. And they just keep including things that look terrible but really don't add to the film at all.
Yeah.
So I don't understand their inclusion.
It was tough because I thought that there were a lot of things that actually looked quite good in this movie too. I thought a lot of the cinematography was quite good. I liked the zoom in under the house when he is laying there. You know what I'm talking about?
Enjoyed that. I enjoyed the entire opening with like soft focus, like going in between the train station and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was very stylish. It's just oh,
Yeah, I feel like they
it's
dropped the ball on
just
the effects work for sure.
it really felt like you're watching a rough draft. Like, hey, we're not completely finished with this. We still have a lot of smoothing out to do, but take a look. But no, this is finished product.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just, oh, it's rough. And then you couple that with the performances where they don't seem invested in the story at all. The characters aren't, I mean, the characters are barely even developed.
very little.
Barely.
Yeah, very little dialogue to be had here. Ava Green does not have a single line in this movie.
No, she plays a mute.
Yeah, she plays a mute. So for you Ava Green fans out there, not a whole lot going on with her.
Mads Mikkelsen doesn't really do anything. You
No,
could have had anyone playing that role, honestly.
yeah, I like that it was him though. He's because I think he's a badass, and I like pretty much anything he's in. Also,
And then Jeffrey Dean Morgan was just a bit much. I thought as Delrue the villain.
I thought that he played a good Western villain. I felt like his character was felt like a classical Western villain. You know,
Yeah.
I,
But
I
also
the
at the
the,
same
o-
time, I'm just thinking,
the only thing that they were missing was tying the girl up on the train tracks. Instead, they tied her up on the bed.
I'm sure like the original screenplay had that.
I like that.
But I'm just always wondering, like, when he comes into town, there's so many opportunities for someone to just pull out a gun and,
And
shoot the
shoot
guy in
him.
the face.
There,
Just
there
do it.
was a whole
Just do
town,
it.
and the whole time I was like, somebody just kill this guy. Just kill him. You have a sheriff and at least 3 or 4 deputies, and then everybody else in the town. They all want this guy gone. Just kill him.
Just kill him. As soon as he turns around and he's giving his whole spiel and whatnot, shoot the guy in the back of the head.
And they
Fuck
literally
it.
stand there and let him kill their citizens one
Man,
by one.
suck it up. Suck it up and take some people out.
Yeah.
My God. There's fucking no laws or anything. Just kill the guy. Jeez.
This movie also solidifies that the West was just an awful, terrible, horrible place, and I don't know why.
Without a doubt.
I don't know why anyone would ever want to live there. Because
They made it work somehow.
I mean, the dude's wife and child come to America, and within 10 minutes, they're already dead.
Okay. I was thinking like with John Wick, I was like, man, I've never have I seen a movie get me on the guy's side, his mission, quicker than John Wick. This movie did it even quicker.
Yeah,
I was just like, okay, Mads, let's take everybody out.
yeah.
Let's do it. But man, it's a slog, really.
Well, it's interesting that you said it's a slog because to me, if it felt like this movie was only half an hour long, it felt like it was over so quickly. It felt like they came to a resolution and everything was it was like in and out so fast to me. I don't know why. It's a 90-minute movie, but it felt really short to me.
See, it was the opposite. Felt like forever.
I don't know.
But it really felt like there was only 30 minutes worth of actual substance. But we just drew it out for 90 minutes for some reason.
Well, it sounds like you pretty much hated this movie. I actually liked it, so
I was not a fan. No.
I
There's just too much going against it. If they could have just did a better job with the effects, just flesh out. I'm not asking for like full-blown characters because I know you're kind of going old school revenge film, but just flesh them out a little bit more than what I got here. I would have been completely on board because I'm completely fine with just straightforward action or Western revenge tale. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, see, that's why I was okay with it. I didn't particularly need deep characters. I mean, these are people living in the West in the 1800s. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot to them. They're pretty much emotionless, stoic, just
I think
kind of.
maybe the inclusion, that forced inclusion of the whole oil subplot just really irritated me, I think. I think that was like the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
And it's like, come on.
I felt like that was unnecessary, but there was so little in the movie that had to do with that. I didn't care.
But I think it was just the end where you see all these CG oil
When
booms.
it's pulling out, yeah, that was terrible.
And you're just like, what is like that was the main takeaway that I was supposed to have from the film? Like, what was the point of the Mads Mikkelsen story? I don't understand what you're going for here.
Yeah, I agree. It just didn't. I was into the action, and that's pretty much what did it for me. I liked the old.
You probably turned this shit off before even the oil booms started popping up. You're just like, oh, they look terrible. Turn it off.
No, I watched.
Kind of liked it.
No, I watched that happen, and it was bad. Yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't enough for me to be like. It wasn't enough for me to hate the movie because of it. I like the action. It was good. I like the old style Western shootouts where you're blasting a dude that's on a balcony and he falls off the balcony onto the ground. And clutches
the wound.
There's a scene where they're dragging a dude on a horse. I'm not gonna say what the context of that scene is. But they're dragging a dude on a horse, and it just looks so painful and awful.
I would imagine that would be painful.
Oh yeah. I liked the scene a lot where and of course I knew as soon as the young kid, showed up, the shop,
Male Audrey Plaza.
As soon as he showed up, I was like, oh, he's gonna join up with Mads Mikkelsen and get killed. Sure enough.
Sure is.
Sure enough. But I like.
He did not last.
No, he didn't. But I like that scene with the when the guy was shooting up through the ceiling and he hit the.
Yeah, but also terrible CG
It was, but I was okay with it because I thought it was badass what happened.
That one made a little more sense.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I can understand you using CGI fire there because that's a very dangerous situation to be in.
Yeah.
Things could go wrong.
Yeah.
So I understand that. But the small brush fire before that you're using CG fire for, just build a fire, please.
And I thought that a lot of the violence appeared to be using practical effects. However, there were some times when they would show people getting shot and they would put in CG bullet holes in the people, and it looked like they were getting hit with paintballs or something. It didn't look real. It looked like they had a sticker. It looked like somebody placed a sticker on top of their shirt that looked like it was a picture of a bullet hole.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It
wasn't layered correctly. It didn't look like there was their shirt and the shirt had a hole in it, and underneath that hole there was a bullet hole on their skin. It looked like the bullet hole was on top of the shirt, and then there was a shirt, then their skin. It just wasn't layered properly.
Yeah, kind of like what I pointed to earlier. It feels
Squibs.
like a rough.
Use squibs, people. They've worked for dozens of years.
Forever, really. Just to use them.
And they look good.
They sure do. Just do it.
All right. Anyway, what are you going to give The Salvation out of 10?
I give it a 4.
4 out of 10? Wow. I'm going to give it a 6.
Ooh.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
I liked it. I
Okay. Fair enough.
If you want just a kind of a plain Western, this is it.
Yeah.
Not a lot to it.
Nope. Not much to it at all.
We do have a review for this up on the site. Ernie gave it a 4.5, so he was not big on it either. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our final review of the week. We're talking about Wild Canaries. This is written and directed by Lawrence Michael Levine. I have a synopsis here. A Brooklyn couple suspects foul play when their rent-controlled neighbor suddenly drops dead. This stars Sophie Tikal, Lawrence Michael Levine, Aaliyah Shawkat, and Jason Ritter's in there, Kevin Corrigan's in there, Annie Parisi's in there. Now, you wrote a review for this So that's up on the site now. You can read that. Actually, I completely forgot to say how you can see these movies. Maps to the Stars and The Salvation. I think all of these are available on demand right now, and they're all playing in limited release.
I don't think we were that interested in having people watch them.
No, not really. Not really. Anyway, Wild Canaries. You wrote a review for this, so I'll start it off. I had a blast with Wild Canaries. I thought it was fantastic. It was fun. It was really funny. It kind of had a cold weather vibe to me, where it felt like an indie comedy, but there were just these little bits of kind of action mystery involved. And I think for the most part, the mystery it actually worked. It was kind of ridiculous. And
I love the development that it took, because it was so ridiculous.
The masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really kind of silly and over the top. And I liked that. I thought that it was very well written. Thought it was very clever, and most importantly, I thought it was funny. And that's really what did it for me. I thought the characters were really funny, and I thought Lawrence Michael Levine was such a douche in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's such
a condescending asshole.
Yeah, it was so funny because he was such a douche, but bad things kept happening to him, which made it even funnier because you kind of enjoyed it when you tweak his neck and just scream, and then for the rest of the movie is wearing the neck brace.
Oh man, and do they get a lot of comedic mileage out of that neck brace?
Yeah.
Just him running with the neck brace is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I loved the scene.
And then he gets punched in the face.
Yeah.
So many terrible things happen.
Which is completely random when that happens too, or pretty much random when he gets punched in the face by his coworker's girlfriend. Oh man, I thought it was great. I love that they worked at Factory. Apparently, they own Factory 25. I guess
that's what it kind of looked like.
I thought that was interesting. I love the video-free Brooklyn tote bag that they showed in the one scene. I was a big fan of that. One of my favorite scenes was when they were following Jason Ritter, and I'm going to really try not to give away like any part of the mystery that happens here. They were following Jason Ritter, and they thought that he was going to see them, and he goes to put his seat down, and it was the automatic seat. It was so slow.
It just takes forever. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of just small comedic moments that I absolutely loved. Their whole knockdown, drag-out fight between him and his fiance, and talking about how he doesn't support her, and of course he goes straight to the financial side of things, and he just starts yelling about clementines. I don't know why, but just him freaking out about clementines, essentially saying that I buy you clementines.
Yep.
How dare you say
I buy you clementine?
There's always clementines on this goddamn table. Because of me.
And I also like when she's trying to point the finger at Jason Ritter's character, and he goes, "He's a Hurricane Sandy victim, dudes." Just the way he said that was so funny to me. I was losing it. He's a Hurricane Sandy victim, dudes.
I never expected him to be so funny. I've seen him in numerous things before, but this really solidified it. I mean, his facial expressions, the physical comedy that he really brings to the table in this one, just all really worked for me. And I'm not usually a big fan of, slapstick, goofball, physical comedy. But, man, he delivered in this thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I had such a blast with this movie. And to see a lot of people liking it to Manhattan Murder Mystery by Woody Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and read the synopsis for that, and it sounds exactly the same. So I need to see that immediately.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. So,
and I would be interested to know, if I saw the Woody Allen one first and then saw this, what my take would have been. Would I kind of saw it as, kind of reductive?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Redundant?
I'm sure it's different enough.
I'm sure it's different enough. And one of the main things that I really enjoyed was the the inclusion of the cell phone, but the fact that Lawrence Michael Levine's character had no idea how to use one, and it just kept popping up again and again, and he would never know what to do in that situation. I love that inclusion.
Yeah, I had a blast with this movie.
Plus, I love the score. I thought the score was great, really added to it, made it really playful and lively. Some of the camera work I was actually surprised by, especially the very end, the rooftop,
Uh-huh.
how everything played out with him sneaking around. I thought that was filmed wonderfully. I just had so much damn fun with this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it's one of those movies that we're sitting here talking about it, and I want to shut up and just watch it again.
Yep.
That's all I want to do.
Very, very fun movie.
The only thing that really kind of disappointed me was after the whole mystery was kind of solved and wrapped up.
Oh.
Everything after that felt kind of pointless. Like I wasn't into any of that. I was just like,
Well,
okay.
that was actually one thing that I didn't like a lot was the scene where they kind of recap everything for us.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of.
Yeah, where they kind of explain what happened and the sequence of events. I felt like whenever that happens in movies, it feels I don't want to say lazy because that sounds too harsh, but if I feel like that they could have presented that in a more organic, natural way.
Yeah, it kind of unnecessary. I always feel as though that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I always feel like it's kind of condescending to the audience.
Right.
Like, hey, you weren't able to follow.
You weren't able to put the pieces together, so here it is for you.
Yeah, and you're always sort of sitting there like, yeah, it wasn't as clever as you thought it was. Like, I was completely with you the entire time.
Exactly.
You don't have to explain this to me.
Yeah, but again, that it really wasn't.
It wasn't. It's such a small.
Yeah, that's a
thing
nitpick. That's a nitpick.
It doesn't take you out of it. By that point in time, you've had so much fun that you just sort of ignore it. At least I did.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot else to add about it. Actually, it was just
watch it. Watch it.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was really funny. I think that if you enjoy indie comedies, you'll like this. I think that there's a nice little mystery hook to it that makes it refreshing, and some good performances in there too. Jason Ritter was good. Kevin Corrigan, he's always good.
Solid as always.
Yeah, he played a creepy guy, but yeah, good stuff. Check it out. Wild Canaries. What did you give this? Did you give it?
I give it an 8.5.
8.5. Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10.
I was completely into this bad boy.
Yeah, so highly recommend.
I was kind of worried because I've been wanting to see this for a while now, and I was afraid because I thought I had my expectations too high. I thought I was going to be let down, but man, it delivered.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I just left you speechless. Fucking chew on that, buddy.
Go see Wild Canaries in limited release and on video on demand right now. Let's go ahead and jump into some of what we've been watching. I believe that I will kick it off this week.
Oh boy.
What do I got? What do I got on the list here? My Life, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn. So,
oh boy.
This is a documentary that came out this weekend. Basically, it's shot by his wife and kind of chronicles the process of creating Only God Forgives, which is his much anticipated follow-up to Drive. And you and I are not big fans of Only God Forgives. A lot of people not big fans of Only God Forgives.
You're like 15 seconds into talking about this movie, and I'm already bored to death.
It's kind of interesting because it's shot by his wife. There's never a moment where it feels like he needs to be tense, or he always feels relaxed. It always feels like a very intimate. Feels like a home movie. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's a home movie.
Okay.
It's a home movie that is scored. That has a score by Cliff Martinez.
Okay, sure.
It's only an hour long, so it's pretty. I don't even know if you could. It's being billed as like a feature-length documentary. I don't know. It's 58 minutes. That seems more like a short film to me. But that's the big problem, is that it never delved deep enough into any one of these aspects that really kind of hooked me. It was cool. Like, it was cool to see the behind the scenes stuff with making Only God Forgives, because it takes place in Thailand. So what they had to do, basically, he and Ryan Gosling had to bribe these city officials in order to be able to shoot at nighttime on the streets in Bangkok. And to get the money to bribe the officials, they had to make an appearance at this film festival, and they got paid like 90 grand to go to this film festival, and then they used that money to then pay off the city officials to let them shoot there at nighttime.
Oh my.
So there's a lot of cool kind of behind the scenes stuff that it just briefly touches on. We get to see them shooting maybe 2 or 3 scenes of the movie, and then the other part of it is kind of what his creative process is like, and
I'm sure that's interesting.
The kind of the stress that he's under, the pressure, because Drive was wildly successful, and he was feeling the pressure of making sure that this movie lives up to that movie, and the strain that it was putting on his relationship with his wife and his 2 kids. But again, it didn't go far enough into that dynamic. Like, I wanted to know more about what if it was going to delve into his creative process, then I want to see more of that, more than just like a scene of him sitting at a coffee table scribbling notes on a script. I just wanted more detail.
Do they happen to show him getting a rating from Jodorowsky? Does that pop up?
Yeah, the beginning of the movie.
The
beginning of the movie is actually him speaking with Jodorowsky, and then when they go to Cannes, I think, to premiere the movie, Jodorowsky's there too.
This movie sounds like a nightmare.
It's pretty interesting, actually. I like movies that get into the craft of filmmaking, so in that regard, this was somewhat interesting. I just wanted more. I just wanted more of all of the aspects of it.
You gotcha. A bit light.
Yeah,
a bit too light for you.
And the fact that it was Only God Forgives, which was a movie that
you're not really interested to begin with.
Like, I didn't like that movie to begin with. It didn't really matter, though. It could have really been any movie. The fact that I think that Nicolas Winding Refn is, despite the fact that I didn't like Only God Forgives, I still think that he's a good director, and I think that he's an interesting person that I'm genuinely interested in learning about how he makes movies. So in that regard, I enjoyed it. I just wanted more.
I'm sure he'll be telling you for years to come how he makes his movies. He seems like that type.
I
think this is like the second film about his creative process.
Oh, maybe.
Which I think is kind of ridiculous coming from a guy that, whatever.
Wow, you have so much hatred for Nicolas Winding Refn.
I do. The more I learn about this guy, I'm not a fan.
Well, maybe you need to see this, and you'll think differently.
It'll solidify my dislike for him.
No, I think you'll feel a little bit different. He's really hard on himself. Like, before he goes to Cannes, he has like a little freak out, and he's like, this movie is garbage. It's not. He's like, I can't fix it. There's nothing I can do. It's not what I wanted.
Well, that's good that he realizes it.
Yeah, he's just like, this is gonna be bad. And like they go all the way up until Cannes, and then they show him reading. He reads several reviews out loud, and it's just like, oh my god, felt so bad for the guy.
That's a bummer.
So, at any rate, I believe that this is playing on demand right now. It's My Life, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn.
I talked about it last show, Revenge of the Ninja.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Is this something or what?
So
I was ready for some stupid ninja action. It's Sam Furstenberg again. I was thinking, something along the lines of American Ninja. It's just going to be some stupid ninja action. a slightly cohesive story, but really just an excuse for ninja action. But man, I was not expecting what I
You weren't
ended up
prepared.
seeing.
You weren't
I
prepared.
was not prepared at all. There is so much packed into Revenge of the Ninja that makes absolutely no sense, but at the same time, it's kind of a joy to watch. But also at the same time, the ninja action gets a little boring and redundant
Yeah.
after a while because it's just the fight sequences themselves, like the choreography and stuff, it's not that good.
No. Um.
And that just it really takes you out of it because after a while, when you get to like the seventh ninja fight scene, you're just like, oh my God. And there's even one towards the end where he fights these four ex-cons.
I remember that.
They, hey, so he goes
The
to
one guy was dressed up like a cowboy.
yeah, an effeminate cowboy. There's a black guy in roller skates with like child pads on, and they're sitting on this bench. There's four of them, and he's just going to see if they know anything about a break-in at his Japanese doll gallery, which we'll get to. We'll get to that, but he's just going to see if they know anything about it. And the way that they respond is "Oh, we don't know shit. Leave us alone." So he fights them, which is the complete opposite of what martial arts is about and what you usually see in films. He just decides to kick the shit out of these four guys because they know nothing. And in all honesty, he's just the aggressor in this, and he looks like a douchebag for kicking the shit out of these four guys for no reason. And the entire sequence is, people gather around, like make a circle, and they do their ninja kung fu stuff. And it's funny because it takes place at like a kid's playground.
Yeah.
So they're fighting on the wooden bridges and the nets and all this shit and the slides and whatever. And the funny thing is while you're watching this, if you plan on watching Revenge of the Ninja, keep this in mind. When this sequence comes up, do not pay attention to the fighting because it's not that great. Just look at the onlookers in the background that have gathered around. They are so unbelievably disinterested in what's going on that half of them aren't even paying attention.
Mm.
They're just kind of like shuffling their feet and looking at the ground. It is just hilarious to see. Oh my goodness. Just the main thing that I was not ready for was the 7-year-old fight scenes.
Yeah. His son.
So his son has a number of fight sequences. It starts off with him fighting, like four or five other kids his age. And I mean, it's kind of cute. They try and do the martial arts, and there's so many instances where it's not working. But I guess because of like child labor laws, they just had to use what they could because they just couldn't keep filming. So all the kind of attempts at kung fu are in there, and it's just kind of silly to see. But at the same time, you're just like kind of clapping these kids on because you've never seen 7-year-olds fight kung fu style in a movie before. But then he fights a grown woman.
Which is probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
And she's just straight up slaps him in the face,
yeah.
which is hilarious. And they mix in this comedy for some reason. Like he charges her and she moves out of the way and he slams
Yeah.
into a door. It's like it's straight out of a
Bonks his
cartoon.
head on on the door.
It's just hilarious. And then to take it a step further, he fights a full-grown man and saves the woman that he just fought from. Apparently, they tied her
Jacuzzi.
up in a jacuzzi with like jets hitting her in the face, and they thought like, "Oh, that will kill her." And I so desperately want to tell you how this 7-year-old ends up beating this full-grown adult with facial hair and
It was
tattoos,
huge
but I
too.
can't. I can't tell you because you need to see it. You need to see it play out and just take you by surprise, and you're just gonna be like, "Are you kidding me? That's what we're doing in this movie?" Okay. We were playing it kind of straight the entire time, but then this just devolves into just absolute silly cartoon, just straight up comedy. And there's just so much in this movie that is just downright terrible. Just all of it is terrible.
It felt
There's his pre-teen son gets throwing star straight between the eyes, just right off the bat, just dead. His entire family killed. And the guy's like, "Come to America. You can't. This is never gonna end. These ninjas just keep popping up and killing you,
and-
your family for no reason."
yeah.
And his mom shows up and she's like, "No, his entire family's died in Japan. This ground is sacred. He needs to stay here." And it's like, Number one, why do ninjas just keep popping up at your place and killing your family? Like, what did you do? What did you do to piss off all these ninjas? There's just rogue ninjas running around killing your family for no reason. And second, why is that the reason that you're gonna stay in Japan? Because your entire family keeps being killed in Japan, so by default, I should stay in Japan. I don't understand that
Yeah,
logic.
it doesn't make any sense.
And my favorite thing is that there's the twist, which is that happens right away, is that the white guy's the ninja, the bad ninja with his ridiculous get up with a mesh shirt and his ridiculous mask and everything. But my favorite thing about his character is that he carries around his ninja equipment
Yeah,
in an oversized
yeah,
briefcase.
an attaché case.
What the fuck? And there's like four separate sequences of him packing up
Yeah.
his oversized briefcase where he's just like picking things out like, oh, I guess I should take the
Okay,
size and
so
put that in there.
look at the size, look at the blades, look at the dart gun.
Then there's Nightwolf from Mortal Kombat. He shows up for no
Oh,
reason.
I thought he looked like Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was like, oh shit, it's Anthony Kiedis.
I just kept like after that I'm thinking, how many stereotypes are we gonna have? Like, are we just gonna go through all of them?
Yeah, we got the
We already have,
Italian Joe Pesci looking mob guy.
which he gets killed in a public bathroom at a park. A ninja. I mean, this is just, if you want to know what a ninja does, this is what a ninja does. He shows up full suit with a briefcase, goes into a public restroom at a park, changes into his ninja costume with my face mask, my shirt, everything like I said, waits for a guy to come in and take a piss, then decides to kill him. And keep in mind, all these ninjas are loud as shit. Like, they are the complete opposite of what a ninja should be because they make a shit ton of noise. Not only after he kills the guy, changes back into the suit, puts all of his weapons away into his, oversized briefcase, and then just waltzes out. And apparently, no one notices this at all.
No,
It's absolutely ridiculous.
it felt. This movie feels like they tried to pack in every kind of ninja weapon, every kind of like stereotypical ninja weapon that they could. So they got there was one scene that I loved towards the end. It was the big culminating fight scene, and
Which takes place on like a badminton court.
and
It starts off.
this is before that. It was when he was going after all the mob guys, and he's picking a lock, and there's a guy coming down the hallway to get him, and he throws out these like caltrops, and then he's not even looking. He doesn't even look. He just grabs a handful of marbles and tosses them over his shoulder, and the fucking guy falls on the marbles and a face full of caltrops, dead.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. There's three separate scenes where jacuzzis are utilized. Like, they were really into jacuzzis.
It's the 80s,
I
man.
love I know. I love the fact that there's just all of a sudden he has decoys. Like, I don't know where he's getting these decoys towards the end, but he's just pulling them out of nowhere. He's putting them in jacuzzis. Decoys just popping up everywhere. There's ninja magic with the hypnosis.
Yeah, the hypnosis, the
Which is
green
funny
eye
'cause he's
hypnosis.
Yeah, he's just all of a sudden he's like, count with me. And she's like, okay, 1, 2. And it's like, why are you counting with this man? Like, when has anyone ever said count with me? And the person replies with, okay,
Sure.
I will count
Sure,
with
why
you.
not?
Completely normal thing. Oh my goodness.
If you're looking for a variety of ninja weapons, though, this had
Get into it.
grappling hooks, bow and arrow, freaking
Ninja decoys.
all kinds of shurikens, swords,
Elaborate.
size.
Elaborate decoys.
They
Flamethrowers.
They use the baton things, the nightsticks, everything.
There's so many things going on.
They use like the
Ridiculous.
piano wire. He uses the piano wire to kill his own henchmen for some reason.
Yeah, because all of a sudden there's just a rape attempt out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Just like straight cuts a rape attempt.
He's like, take care of her. Make sure you watch her. And then he comes home and the guy's trying to rape her and he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just kill you then.
I'll kill you. And then immediately afterwards, count with me.
Count with me.
Okay. I'll count with you.
The one thing
Oh, there's one thing. I completely forgot about this. The woman is training with the main ninja, Cho, or what's his name in the movie? Yeah, Cho Osaki. she's taking like lessons or whatever with him, and she just shows up with no
No
pants on.
pants. And this is towards the beginning of the movie too. She's
Yeah, with his kids, this kid's
and
there too. His
kid's in
kid's
the
like,
room. She shows up with no pants.
and it's funny because she's like coming on to Cho and everything, and she's like, I'm here for my lesson and everything, and he just no lie just goes, well, you forgot your pants, just straight face. Oh my God.
I
It's
like
just
the one thing I did like was when he goes to his doll gallery and finds that Anthony Kiedis and the rest of them broke in, and the 20-minute long chase that took place.
Oh my God, it takes forever. And it's funny because he enters that room and everything's smashed. Everything's on the ground, completely smashed, all the display cases, everything. But then all subsequent shots of the gallery, everything is nicely
Yeah.
where it is, nothing smashed up. And at the same time, his mother did not hear any of this happening. But then when the white guy ninja Brayden, there's a ninja named Brayden for Christ's sake, when he stealthily enters the house, it perks up her ears and she's like, someone has entered the house. Yet she did not hear Anthony Kiedis Nightwolf combo breaking in, smashing all the glass, just taking all the Japanese stuff. She didn't hear any of that. But she hears the ninja pop up from the roof.
I do like when she was doing the flips and stuff though. The old grandma.
So yeah, keep in mind there's a 7-year-old doing fight sequences. But I do love the way that she dies. I just thought that was ridiculous and hilarious.
One of my favorite things about I believe it was the scene, the chase scene when he was chasing after the van. There's a scene where he was flipping over fences, and it looked so ridiculous.
Looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. And the fight sequences, you can tell that he knows what he's doing, but you can tell the other people have no idea. So everything they do is very slow.
Yeah,
and telegraphed.
Yeah. The choreography is very apparent.
Oh, it's terrible. So you don't even have that going for it.
Well, the reason that I picked this for you, I believe that this was the movie that kind of was
kicked it off.
It was kind of the transition period for Cannon films where this is where they started doing action, because I believe that this was a modest success for them, and this is where, from this point, is when they started doing a lot of action. Because before that, I think they probably did some action, but they were mostly doing like horror and kind of sexploitation type movies.
Gotcha.
And this is where they started getting into action, and that's really what Cannon Films was known for later on, was their action movies. And it was ridiculous. This movie's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
So that's Revenge of the Ninja. I'd say seek it out. It's a fun. It's terrible. It's awful, but it's fun.
No, you gotta watch it with friends.
It's fun. I saw another documentary. I saw nothing but docs.
You're all about docs.
Yeah, I saw nothing but docs. It wasn't on purpose, but it's called All This Mayhem. This is a Vice documentary that came out. It's about the Pappas brothers. They're really, really famous skateboarders back in the 90s. And they were basically the number 1 and number 2 skateboarders in the world, vert skaters. And it kind of just goes through their lives and their meteoric rise and fall. So often with these pro skaters, you hear about problems with drugs and alcohol and all of this. And this is definitely one of those stories. It's kind of a tragic story. They were on top of the world. They were ranked higher than Tony Hawk, and they just kind of got into drugs. And one of them, the younger brother, Ben, got caught smuggling cocaine into Australia, and basically they said, you're never going to be allowed in the United States again. So that pretty much ended his career. If you're into skateboarding and kind of the history of skateboarding, this is a pretty solid documentary. Not a lot to say. It's pretty straightforward, but if you don't know their story, I knew who these guys were, but I didn't really know their life story or anything. It's pretty interesting, and it's sad. Ultimately, with the older brother Taz, he gets his shit together, so that's at least somewhat uplifting by the end, but yeah, still a rough watch.
Mm. Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. All This Mayhem. I'd say
okay.
sorry. Even if you're
No.
not like really into skateboarding, I'd say it's still worth checking out.
Gotcha. I ended up checking out Frames, like I said I was going to, Brandon Colvin's debut, because of the strength of Sabbatical. So back to Vimeo, checked out Frames, 2013. You know how when we were talking about Sabbatical, how you said, if this was maybe not Robert Longstreet in the lead, that it might have been, a little more difficult to watch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's Frames.
Oh.
You're talking about Frames. Because this is, it's his debut. You got non-actors working here, and you know how kind of touched on, in a Bresson movie, emotional volume levels at a 0, and then Sabbatical is like a 3, maybe, being generous there. In Frames, it's at a 0, straight 0.
Back down.
Across the board. There's no emoting whatsoever. Everything is very dry, very glacial pace to it. The indie lull is in full effect.
Nice.
I mean, hardcore. Plus, the imagery itself. You had a problem with Sabbatical, the way that it looked, the quality of the video or the film or whatever it was. This is worse because it's a debut, so they didn't have as much as a budget. But the story itself is fairly interesting. It starts off with a kid making a documentary about his hometown, and he has this girl that's kind of helping him out, and there's just like kind of like budding romance between the two of them, and then she disappears. He can't get a hold of her. He has no idea where she is. No one has seen her. Her dad is acting very strange, so he starts to interview him like he's doing it for the documentary, but he's trying to find out information and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting story. The way that it's told is really difficult to get through. But at the same time, much like Sabbatical, the way that it ends, it's very, very interesting. I did thoroughly enjoy the ending. So it's like a light recommend. But the main thing to take away from this movie compared to Sabbatical is to see the giant leap from his debut to Sabbatical. Is just, all aspects, everything. It's just a huge leap in improvement. And also, just the things that I normally really, really hate about Bresson movies, the fact that he's able to use those and they don't irritate the shit out of me has me intrigued. There's something to say about that. So it's like a light recommend.
And that's Frames, and that is available on Vimeo. You can get that for free, right?
Yeah, and it also has another extremely uncomfortable masturbating sequence.
Ooh,
so
there you go.
2 for 2.
Wonderful.
2 for 2. It kind of felt like, and someone pointed this out on Letterboxd, I can't remember who, but it kind of felt like After School, the Antonio Campos movie.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of felt like that, but I enjoyed it more than After School.
Okay.
With that suffocating framing that he does.
Yeah. I saw The Hunting Ground. This is Kirby Dick's latest documentary. This is playing in limited release. I don't think it has any kind of VOD release as of yet. So you'll have to see this in the theater, which is a really tough place to see a movie like this because you can't escape it. And this is a documentary about college rape. And this is, if you're not familiar with Kirby Dick, he's the same guy that did the documentary about Invisible War, the one with sexual abuse cases in the military. This is basically the exact same movie. It just covers college campuses instead of the military. And it's every bit as wrenching and difficult to get through, but also feels just as important as the Invisible War, if not more so. Because it's the statistics that they give you in this movie are jaw-dropping and staggering and maddening, and it basically just kind of looks at the college institution and explains why there are so many cover-ups by colleges to kind of shield people from the apparent rampant sexual assault that happens on these campuses. And it's just crazy. I mean, I knew that it was bad, but I had no idea just how bad it was and how the lengths that these colleges are willing to go through to cover this stuff up. And it's just
that's been a problem for
years. Yeah,
years.
and they say that in the movie that this is something that's been happening for decades.
It's good that it's finally starting to come to light over the past.
Well,
I'd say that past 5 years, it seems like it's more in the forefront for people are trying to really push it.
It seems to be getting better. More colleges are starting to be held accountable, mainly, and this documentary explains that there's these two girls, both survivors of a sexual assault at North Carolina, and they discovered that there was kind of this loophole in the college bylaws that says if a student, I'm probably butchering this, I'm paraphrasing, and I don't have it in front of me or anything, but it basically says that if a student feels that they are in danger at their college, then the college is held liable for that, and that they are liable to have their federal funding pulled because of that. So because of this law, a lot of survivors have been filing claims with the Department of Education against their colleges, and there are currently 90 federal investigations that are happening at 90 different schools across the country into these allegations. So I believe, I'm hopeful that there is some progress being made, but as it stands now, 1 in 4 college students will be the victim of a sexual assault during their 4-year career at school, which is fucking insane. 1 in 4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
dude, the numbers against women, just either sexual assault or just domestic violence, it's terrifying.
They do.
I would be scared to death to be a woman.
Yeah,
to be quite honest.
Interestingly, they do talk to 2 men that were sexually assaulted as well. So, or maybe even 3. They might even talk to 3. So it's not just women. Obviously, it's mainly women, but it's just a terrible epidemic that's happening, mainly because the perpetrators know that they can get away with it, especially if they're an athlete. If they're a student athlete, then they're pretty much guaranteed that they can get away with it. Unless they kill the person, then they probably won't get away with it. But if they just like to rape women, then odds are the blinders will be put on. One of the segments that they get into is the whole thing at FSU, the whole Jameis thing. I lived in Tallahassee for many years, and it's a football town, and they just love their FSU football so much that they're willing to put the blinders on and not confront somebody that pretty clearly sexually assaulted a young girl. And then, of course, they end up blaming the girl. She ends up dropping out of school, and she's driven out of the town. She has to leave the town because she's harassed and threatened.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jameis, he's so good at throwing that football. I mean, you got to keep that in town. You need someone that can throw a football, right?
Of course.
That's what America's all about, is throwing footballs.
And it's frustrating to see that when allegations like this, of course, the first thing everybody does is they blame her and say that she's making it up, and
or they go, she was asking for it,
right,
all that shit.
But in this case, she didn't even know who he was. It happened a year before he became uber famous, so she didn't even know who he was. The rape kit that she had done proved that it was him and that she was assaulted, and yet nobody did anything about it. So it's terrible, and you understand why why a lot of these students don't come forward and report it, because this kind of shit happens, and it's so awful. The documentary, it's a difficult documentary, much like The Invisible War.
I know. I want to see it because it seemed it's a very important documentary, but all I can think of is The Invisible War, which was just like constantly pissing me off.
Yeah, and this one I think maybe pissed me off a little bit more.
I have a feeling it will too.
Yeah, it pissed me off a little bit more because with the military, they're kind of their own little microcosm. When you're dealing with colleges, there's so many more people involved with it. I mean, you have...
But that's another thing that kind of irritates me, is that a lot of these colleges are allowed to be these little microcosms where it's like, we handle it ourselves. And it's like, why? Why is it like that? I don't give a fuck who you are or what institution you are. There's laws. Like, why is it schools handling this shit?
Yeah, and
they should be completely taken out of the equation.
Yeah, and they really get into... They really dive deep into a lot of aspects. They deal with the colleges that have the focus on their sports programs. They deal with frats and the institution of fraternities and how that plays a role. Obviously, they talk. It's all perpetrated by money, of course. It's all about money and tuition and donations and stuff like that, and keeping their numbers down. But yeah, they get into a lot of different aspects of it. So it is a very in-depth documentary that covers a lot of terrible, terrible things that have been happening recently. And it's funny because I think that more people need to know that if you have a daughter and she's going off to college, that there's a pretty good chance that she's going to be sexually assaulted. And I think that what parents need to know is that I think probably what's happening is that most parents think like, oh, my daughter's smarter than that. And or they'll just be like, well, she won't be putting herself in that kind of situation. But it's not about that.
It's not how it works.
A lot of the girls that they interview in this movie were drugged. A lot of them were... There was one where it was a conspiracy where this guy and his friends tricked this girl into going over to his apartment, and it was just him. And as soon as she walked in, he grabbed her and assaulted her. So it's not like one of these situations where the girl's asking for it, quote unquote. I
don't think that ever happens.
No, it's never like that.
I heard that is the most ridiculous.
And the other big
I've ever heard.
Yeah, and the other big argument that a lot of people say is like, oh, these girls are just they're faking it. It's all false accusations. But statistically, they say this, which I found was really interesting, that it's the amount of false rape accusations that have been reported to police is actually less than other false accusations like assault and things like that. It's like, I think they said 2 to 8% or something like that turn out
to be false.
Yeah. So it's such a small portion that it can't be just brushed off like that. And just to see like the girl that was assaulted by Jameis, it was really difficult because like I was thinking, if that was me and everybody on ESPN, he's everywhere and everybody loves him and everybody hates her, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so terrible.
So there's a documentary that if you want to wreck your day.
Yeah, it did pretty much wreck my day. Luckily I saw it later on in the evening last night, so didn't crush it completely, but yeah, it was rough. At any rate, The Hunting Ground, I highly recommend seeing it. It's a difficult movie, but at the same time, I think that it's a necessary movie. I think that they need to show this on college campuses. They need to show it to parents. It needs to get out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's all I got. That's all I got.
That's all I got as well.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to some predictions. Last week, we said Focus. You said 38, I said 32, actual 56.
Ooh.
I think we gave it a 5 out of 10 on the site, so you can read our review. Jacob reviewed that. The Lazarus Effect, you said 68, I said 72, actual 14.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I didn't see that this weekend.
That's probably a good idea.
Well, I saw The Hunting Ground instead, so now I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have, because that wrecked my weekend. Maybe I should have saw just a crappy horror movie instead. Next week we have Chappie. This is the Neil Blomkamp sci-fi movie. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see this, actually. Mm. What are you thinking on that?
I'm thinking 32.
32. Wow. I'm gonna say 65 on that. I'm hoping that it's gonna be good. I was a huge fan of District 9, not a big fan of Elysium, so he's about at a 50% for me. So I guess Chappie's gonna be the deciding factor. We also have
Hugh Jackman and a mullet.
Yeah, that was a sweet mullet. And what you call it? Diane Word is in that too.
That's just ridiculous.
It's weird. We have the second best exotic Marigold Hotel.
That is the worst fucking title I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but this movie just irritates the shit out of me.
Is it a different hotel? Because I don't
know. This is the second best one. The first one was the best one, so why do I want to see the second best?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like, why are we going down in quality? Who wants to go down in quality?
Exactly. I'm going to say 62 on this one. I think the first one was pretty well received, so...
I'm gonna say 54.
Okay. And we also have Unfinished Business. This is the Vince Vaughn comedy, quote unquote comedy, because it doesn't look that funny to me, except for when what's his name gets hit with the dart in the trailer, and he goes, just throw it. Just the waiting's the worst part.
He gets hit with a dart. Oh man, I'm gonna say 4.
I will say 15 on that one. In limited release next week, we have The Cobbler.
That's a real thing.
Yeesh.
That's a real thing.
The Coup. I actually don't know about that.
Isn't the Cobbler actually by someone?
Yeah, it's somebody.
Oh, Thomas McCarthy. What did they do? They did something.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm kidding.
I remember we even talked about it on the show before.
I know. Oh, Win-Win.
Oh,
Station
yeah,
Agent.
Yeah, there we go. Merchants of Doubt Faults comes out next week. So
thank God.
Yeah, we'll probably be reviewing that on the show.
Oh, you're damn right we will be.
Kidnapping Mr. Heineken.
Sure.
October Gale, A Year in Champagne, Buzzard, and XY. Excited for Buzzard.
I'm excited for yes.
I was walking.
You beat me to it. You dick.
I was walking somewhere last night, and there was a giant billboard for Buzzard up in the city.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they were able to get that kind of real estate. It was big, and it was awesome looking too. It was the Freddy Krueger hand.
Which, by the way, I just realized that you can watch this now on Vudu. You can rent it for $6.99 on Vudu.
Oh, you can get Buzzard now?
Buzzard now on Vudu.
Nice.
$6.99.
Nice. All right. On VOD next week, we have Buzzard, which is apparently available now. Faults. I recommend seeing that. Badasses on the Bayou. That's the third Badass movie.
What is that?
That's the one with Danny Trejo, based on a YouTube video.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's terrible. I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one. The second one, they added Danny Glover. Okay, we also have Kidnapping Mr. Heineken, Two Men in Town, I don't know what that is, A Year in Champagne, XY, These Final Hours, and Hayride 2. Hayride 2, folks.
Hayride 2.
I never even...
Do you hear that?
I never even...
It sounds like Ron was calling you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get it in just a second. DVD and Blu-ray next week. We have Black November. That's the one with like Mickey Rourke and some other. I don't want to say has-been, but you know.
Which is code for terrible.
The Captive, which I heard was really bad. That's the one with Ryan Reynolds. Foxcatcher, recommend.
Recommend some Foxcatcher.
Yeah. For some reason, that one I've kind of come around. No, I've come around. I actually like it more now.
Oh.
The longer that one stuck with me, kind of the more I liked it. I mean, I was okay on it at the beginning, but yeah. The Humbling, this one with Al Pacino that looks pretty bad. The Last Robin Hood, I can't remember who's in that. Is Kevin Kline in that?
It sounds like something he would do.
Yeah. Let's Kill Ward's Wife and The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Do we have any criterions?
We have no criterions.
No criterions next week, so
None.
That'll do it. Send us your questions to podcast@filmpulse.net. We'll be sure to answer them on the show. Follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And be sure to rate us on iTunes. We appreciate that so very much. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson, and we'll see you on Thursday for Ryan Watches a Movie.